Hi, my name's Daniel. Today I'll be talking to you about the 12 Rules for Life by Jordan B. Peterson. Rule number 1, stand up straight with your shoulders back. Jordan Peterson explains how changing your posture can change your mindset. We learned that in the world of lobsters, those who are weak and frail only get more weak and frail. As they lose their territory, as they lose to a competitor lobster, that their mind will melt and change into a weaker, sadder, more pathetic lobster. And we find that the chemicals that affect these lobsters affect us in very similar ways. That as we're beaten down and defeated, that we slump and become sad, and that we get stuck in this negative feedback loop that we never can crawl out of. But simply changing your posture, making eye contact with the challenges in life, and facing those struggles head on can lead you towards courage and towards success in life. Rule number 2. Treat yourself like you are someone you are responsible for helping. We know the deepest, darkest parts of ourselves. It can cause us to hate ourselves and to look down upon ourselves. Why is it easier for people to make sure that they give their dogs their medication on time, but not their own selves? We'll lack on our diet, we'll lack on exercise, we'll ignore our own selves in very vital areas of our lives. We'll make sure that we tend to every need of a child or a pet or a loved one. If we can't take care of ourselves, we will fall apart, and eventually we won't be able to take care of those around us. It is just important for us to look at ourselves, to forgive ourselves for those deepest, darkest parts, and to love ourselves, take care of ourselves physically, emotionally, and spiritually, so that we may build up those around us. Rule number 3, make friends with people who want the best for you. Oftentimes, people with great potential, who are smart, great people, get dragged down by people who just want to mope and complain and be sad and victimized by life. When you surround yourself by people who can see your potential, who want to see you succeed, they will not let you fail. They will not let you settle. They will hold you up to a higher standard and lift you up along with their own success. Rule number 4, compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. Some thinkers call this the comparison trap. You can't even see what's going on in somebody else's life. All you see is a selfie of somebody standing in a nice hotel near the swimming pool. You don't know the whole picture of their life to say, I wish that I was in their shoes. I wish I was living their life. The only thing that you can properly compare your life now to is who you were yesterday. Have you made yourself a better person today than you were before? Our internal critics are ruthless. You know all of the worst things about you. You know your weaknesses. You know where you fall the most. But comparing yourself to your neighbor will not make you a better person. It will make you miserable. It is only effective to take that criticism of yourself and to use it positively, to see where can I grow now that will make me a better person today than I was yesterday. Rule number 5, do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. There's this idea out there that children are all born perfect and if left to their own devices would only do great, wonderful things. But if you've ever met a child, you would know this is simply not true. Children need guidance and discipline. In fact, they're seeking that guidance and discipline. Children will push the boundaries, and as a parent, it's your job to show them where the boundaries are. Jordan Peterson encourages you to keep the rules to a minimum, make them realistic, and make them so that your children are capable of obeying them, and then only use the force necessary to enforce those rules and step it up as necessary. It is not proper as a parent to be a tyrant over your children. They will never be able to reach your expectations. And it is also not proper for us to sit back and simply ignore our children. Children do need parental guidance, but they don't need a tyrant and they don't need a buddy-o-pal friend. They need somebody who can see where they're going and help them in that direction. If you want your children to thrive, show them how to live in a way that does not make you dislike them. Rule number 6, set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. This is a very tough pill to swallow. Whenever you angrily criticize the world, You're assuming that you know what is best, what the world should be. But do we really? The world is so great, complex, and vast that one cannot possibly know all the answers to life. Before you start criticizing the world, hating others, criticizing your neighbor, it's important to take stock of yourself, to understand yourself, and to put your house in perfect order. Don't reorganize a state until you have put your own personal experience in order. Until you have taken the log out of your own eye, how can you properly deal with a speck in your neighbor's eye? Rule number 7, pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient. It is easy to only chase after the here and now. It's easy to just go after the job because it pays more, to do the thing that makes your life just a little bit easier, but you can be missing out on all of the beautiful, meaning, wonderful purpose that you could have in your own life. Meaning is when everything comes together in an ecstatic dance of single purpose. If you're simply living in the here and now, there is so much that you can be missing out on. To understand meaning and purposefulness, one must first strive to understand oneself. Each and every one of us can take a deep look at the troubles and suffering in this world and aim to lighten it, but that takes personal sacrifice. How can I make the world a better place if the only person that I care about is myself? If I'm not willing to help somebody far away, if I'm not willing to give up time or money now to make somebody's life better then. If you live your whole life gathering treasures here on earth, you will die and take none of that with you. But the one thing that you can leave behind is a better, happier world. Aim to lighten the load of those around you. Aim to reduce suffering in this world. Rule number 8, tell the truth, or at least don't lie. This is such an important rule. Oftentimes, the biggest lies that we tell are the ones that we tell to ourselves. What are the true intentions behind your actions? To find answer to these questions, one has to look deeply inward at oneself. Feigning nobility does not make you a good person. Pretending that you're sacrificing for the good of your family, that you're doing this for somebody else when you're actually doing it for your own pride, does not make you a better, happier person. If you live your life believing that you know the answer to everything and that you have all the answers and all the ideas that anybody could hope for, you're living a lie. That is simply not true. We must confess that life is great and complex and nobody could possibly know all the answers to life. Lies can corrupt the relationship that we have with reality itself. Are you willing to look the truth in the eyes and to accept it? If the truth did hit you square in the face, would you still take it in, or would you throw it away and keep living your lie? This rule begs of you to look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, am I who I say I am? Am I doing the things that I do for the real intentions that I purvey? Am I being genuine? Am I being real with others? Or am I stuck up, proud, and angry, acting as if I know everything, as if I could possibly have all the answers, and that nobody could ever add anything to my life? Nobody has it all together, so why act like it? Why put on the fake face, the front, as if you had all the answers? It takes a great deal of humility to step down from your pride and admit that you don't know, and that maybe there is another solution or answer. Even if the truth seems terrifying, it is our personal responsibility to face it head on. Rule number 9, assume that the person you are listening to might know something you don't. It is a common theme in the world today to listen with the intent to answer. I'm just waiting for you to stop talking so I can tell you what I think and what I know. Assuming that the person you're speaking with knows something you don't will cause you to truly listen to the words that they're saying. Genuine conversation involves active listening. As we speak to one another, we're looking at our thoughts in real time. We're analyzing our own thoughts as we speak and building a better mindset as a result. Jordan Peterson explains the necessity of concise listening. How much more would you pay attention to a loved one or friend or a stranger if you thought that maybe what they were saying had some importance to it? Maybe we all need to humble ourselves whenever we speak to others. Maybe we need to take the time to truly grasp what somebody's intentions are in their speech. Imagine how much more warmth we would find in conversations if we spoke not to argue, not to fight, but to understand the other person's point of view and to reach a consensus in our speech. Having a high-quality conversation with another person can help you understand their point of view, which will then help you analyze your own point of view. What you as an individual know is only a tiny part of what there is to know. Rule number 10, Be precise in your speech. Precise speech allows us to put a spotlight on a problem so that we can properly utilize an effective solution. If you ever watch Jordan Peterson in his talks, you'll actually see him do this. He'll kind of stop what he's doing to say the right words at the right time in order to purvey the message that he wants to get across. It's so easy to just ramble on and be misheard or taken the wrong way. But he is very precise in his speech so that when the words leave his mouth, the listener is hearing what he wanted you to hear. Vagueness and ambiguity make success impossible. Saying things like, the world is bad, or society is crazy, those aren't problems that you're trying to fix. Those are just complaints. If you don't have and can't come up with a solution, I don't think that that's a valid problem. That's just you whining and complaining. It's important to use your words precisely and specifically choose words that will highlight the problem so that most people can understand what the problem is and chip in towards making a solution. It's important to be honest and clear about who you are and what you want. The world is very large and complicated, and our point of views are all very limited. The way that I understand a concept could be different than somebody across the country from me. Precision in speech is a tool to unite people so that there's no way they can misunderstand what you're saying. Rule number 11, do not bother children while they are skateboarding. The world and life are great and complex and meant to be explored. It's invigorating to do extreme sports, to climb mountains, to skateboard and see if I can hit a 5 set instead of a 4 set or a 6 set instead of a 5 set, to push my limits, to allow myself to get hurt. That is my choice, to push myself, to risk injury in order to grow as an individual. To enforce unnecessary, silly rules such as you can't skate here, you can't do this, you can't do that don't actually help society grow, only holds people down and stagnates us as individuals. In Jordan Peterson's book, there's this recurring theme of this tightrope that we're all walking on between order and chaos. And it's in this tightrope that we grow as individuals. If you stay in too much chaos, your life crumbles and falls apart. Or if you have too much order, you don't grow as an individual. But when we're constantly struggling and finding balance, it's where we grow as individuals. All of these unnecessary rules and limitations only create spineless, unimaginative people. Jordan Peterson demands that we allow boys to struggle to become men and allow girls to struggle to become women. Rule number 12, pet a cat when you encounter it on the street. Throughout the whole book, Jordan Peterson emphasizes that the world can be a dark, sad, terrible place. There's no getting around that. He doesn't say that there isn't beauty to life, but he's saying that all humans will encounter suffering and trials and struggle. Jordan Peterson recounts his daughter Michaela's medical condition, which has caused her to endure much suffering growing up. Jordan Peterson explains that it's the small things in life that truly do make the world happier. How can we find happiness when there is so much pain and suffering? Pain and suffering will not cease to exist, but we must transcend that suffering and find our own happiness in the world around us. It's the little things like petting a cat when it comes up to you on the street that will make your life that much happier. The 12 Rules for Life was a great book to read. I absolutely recommend reading this book, but I will say it is a challenging book. Jordan Peterson challenges the reader to look at oneself. Look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself to be honest with who you are. Are you living a lie? Are you being genuine and truthful about who you are? Although life can kind of suck sometimes, he shows you that there is beauty. There are wonderful things in this human existence that we can find and enjoy. There is beauty to be found in humanity, and there are terrible, horrible things which will get us down. But whenever you live life with your shoulders back, treat yourself properly, whenever you make good friends and have good conversations with people, whenever you accept that you're human just like everybody else and don't put burdens on other people, but instead lift the burdens of others around you, That's when we can walk that tightrope between order and chaos and find our niche and find a happiness while lifting up others around us. He emphasizes common sense. Don't be so blind to the truth. When the truth smacks you in the face, accept it. Be humble enough to drop your pride and accept the truth when it comes to you. It is our personal responsibility to shape this world, and it starts with shaping our own lives. If I'm a horrible mess inside, which sometimes I find that I am, it's my responsibility to take care of that. It's not helpful for me to say it was my parents' fault, it was the school system's fault, it's the government's fault. You can only control yourself. You can't make other people change. You can't make the world a different place. You can only change who you are and thus lift the world up with you. The 12 Rules for Life is a great book for you to push yourself in your journey for personal development. I love reading. I love talking about books. So in the future, if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. Please hit the like button. Have a wonderful day, guys.